What is up, guys? Tony of Geek Legion Games, and today we finally have our Tier 0 deck ready to go for Nats. If you haven't seen the last deck profile I put out for Grandness, aka the Solitaire deck, is one of my other choices depending on how my extensive playtesting goes tomorrow. But for right now, my mind's all on this, and this deck is built for the mirror match. So before we get to the deck profile here, be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so yet. If you're interested in yellow BT-11 decks that are titled Road to Nationals, or I have some fun ones along the way, because after this video here, I'm going to get some fun ones like Marsmons and some Entmon decks, of course, for the side. But enough jibber jabber, let's get with the deck profile. Alright, start the deck profile. We are running only the DP plus Coromon eggs here. Like I said before, this is designed for the mirror match. Most people may be running the Coromons that I think from BT5 that get you the draw, because they feel the need that drawing more cards. Yes, drawing cards is consistently, you get your pieces, of course, whatever, but if my stack's always bigger than yours, it don't matter. So there you go there. We got our Coromons here. Speaking of DP, running the full set promo Agumons here. If you're running the red base, I suggest you get 4. Very powerful and inheritable. This Digimon has Greymon in its name, gains 2000 DP. Do note if you go into Omnimon, you do lose out on this, so keep that in mind when swinging into something. Up next for Augus, we're running 2 of the Searcher BT5 ones. Last deck profile we had, we ran this at a 4 of, and we reduced this down to 2 because when we get to it in a second, on play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, pull a Greymon in its name, and then if you do hit an Omnimon, you can pull that as well. Spoiler alert here, we aren't actually any running Omnimons, and when we get to our level 6s, I'll tell you why. To replace the other 2 Agumons that are BT5, we are running the 2 black Agumons from BT8, because it gets to reveal 1 more card from the top, and then we can find a Greymon and our top end. So essentially, this is going to pull any of our level 4s, level 5s, and then also all of our level 6s have Dragon Kit in it, so we can net 2 cards with this. Do keep in mind, though, that we do have some red Greymon, so we have this on the field, whatever. The only Greymon this is going to be going on this is the Blackwargreymons or the X Antibodies, if we have to spend the 3 memory. And then after that, we have 4 of our X Antibody Augus. Oh, it's off to the side here. There we go. Apologies. The table I'm working with here is rather small, so there's only so much space I can have. And obviously for the camera to be out. But anyway, back to Digimon. On play or when Digivolving on top of any of these Agumons, that can happen. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you may play 1 Greymon and 1 Omnimon. Again, we're not playing Omnimon, and I will explain why in a minute or so. When we get to our level 6s. And then lastly, as our 13th Digimon, we're running an Agumon that gives us 1000 in the back. We are playing the mirror matches here, and I'm built differently. And to go up against the mirror matches, I'm always going to be stronger when it's my turn. So that's why we have this guy back here. This guy could be, if you don't like going in with the mirror matches, whatever, this can be whatever. It could be any one of these other searchers, or this can be the X Antibody one, however you want to build it. But again, this is my build, so keep that in mind. Up next for our Greymons, we're running the full set of the blocker ones, Digivolve 2 on a red or a black Digimon. We have this for our inheritables. We need it as a 4. We want to see them. Not much to talk about there. Up next, we have our 2 Greymons here that have DP inheritable plus 2000. And now, if I realized I've been lied to this entire time, as long as you have an Agumon in the sources, even if it has X Antibody on top of it, this is going to check the bottom part of this. So as long as you have the 2000 DP Agu, or even the black one, or any of them, of course, as long as it's not just this Agumon. Like if this is eggs here, you have this. If you want to go ahead and Digivolve on top of this, you're going to pay the full 2. So if you have this and this, and then go up into this, you will gain that 1 memory back. So keep that in mind. That's what everyone's figuring out right now. And if someone tries to cheat you out on that, call a judge. Then lastly, for our Greymons, the card that people are pretty much thinking after Nationals, this will be reduced to 1. And I'm pretty much okay with that if it happens to be the case, because this is Deltamon 2.0. With obviously gained effects here if you have X Antibody, obviously you have Greymon or Omnimon. If it were to be deleted by effects or returned to hand or deck, you get to place 1 X Antibody from the sources and bottom deck it. As long as you have X Antibody options to piss out, put in the stacks, basically it's untouchable. Up next and I also forgot to, when Digivolving into your level 5s, of course, it's going to reduce costs 1 for each of those colors, which, it's always going to be 2, because we have our Metal Greymons here. When Digivolving, Digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon, and then pop a 3k or less. So the base of this deck here is we're going to be stronger, but it has to be our turn. If they do push out, right, obviously the Digivolve's not going to work, but our inheritable might work here, because we're going to go into this next, which is a fantastic Dora Greymon here, but better. When Digivolving until the end of your opponent's turn, it can't be Digivolve or DP reduced, and you may pop some 6,000 or less, as long as you have either this in the source or X Antibody. Opponent's turn, when Digimon becomes unsuspended, trash it if you have Greymon or Omnimon in the top stack. But that's not the reason why, even though we can't de-Digivolve, because once we get into our level 6s here, which I'll explain one more level 5 here, Saltarius mode. I'm explaining a little too much, I'm going a little too fast, I apologize. So if some of you are getting cringe, just hang on for a second. When Digivolving, and get Digivolve on top of Greymon. So we have this, go into this, and then go into this. Pop a 5,000 or less. But what I find neat here is we have the alternates, like the old Greymon. If this Digimon would be deleted in the sources by effects or return to deck or hand, you get the trash. So what we would want to do is trash the X Antibody with this effect. And if they try to do it again, then you can just go ahead and get rid of these 2 sources or your level 3s, if you have level 3s stacked up, of course, and you can keep doing it, you can't do it anymore. So it's really nice, it gives us another layer of protection. But now, the reason why we're playing the mirror match chicken way is we were running 3 of the Black War X Antibodies. So before we get to this effects, so we're ready to have the 2000 DP here, or the 1000 here, 1000 here. We're already stronger than 13, of course. And even if they Yuya whatever, it gets negated by this, and we'll at least have always plus 1000. So we're always going to be stronger no matter what, because most of the time other players are actually running 2 Yuyas, and they're going to have 1 on the field each time. We were going to always swing into their stack with the X Antibody inheritable, whether it be in this Digimon here or this Digimon here. No, we need to have this Digimon, or this Digimon on top, at least this inheritable, to swing into the stack, go into this, or even these 2, to go into to delete their stack. So going back to Black War here, reboot, opponent's turn. Your opponent has 2 more. Opponent's Digimon on the field that's attacking with the highest DP. You can suck it into this sources, which once it's their turn, whatever, this will be at 13, by the way, unless you have Yuya to give it plus 2,000, of course. So either 13 or 15, you get suck an attack into this once per turn. You also have blocker, so this essentially has 2 blocks. And then another effect it has is when an opponent, on their turn, when a Digimon suspends, which this will be unsuspended because it has reboot in the face, you get to blow up a Digimon with the lowest DP. Or the lowest play cost, sorry. After that, we have our Gaiamons here. We did up this to 2 because we are going to be playing the mirror matches a lot, and if it's our turn, whenever you want to swing into the stacks, this is another great Digimon to go in and do it too. Even though they'll have the protection of the Digivolving though, you're basically just going to swing into them with Blitz for 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 if you have all that right there, and there's nothing they can do about it. So we have 5 Digimon cards here that can swing into their stack for over 13, and they're going to wish they stayed in the back. So this is why this is the chicken deck. Then lastly, for our level 6s, we just have 2 Black Wars here. When Digivolving, you get to, if you have black and red, you basically do 3 and 3, and you can just delete Tamers or Digimon, equal up to plus 6 on the play cost. If you're going up against the Cross Hearts, this is the one you want to see first before any of these guys here, because you blowing up their tamers is very crucial, and it pretty much ends the game there. And we have our lovely Hades Force that's going to be coming up that literally spells GG. Speaking of tamers, we can actually fit this off to the side since it's like I clumped this up finally and figured it out. We are running 3 of the Yuyas. We finally figured out, and I said the name wrong too, but whatever. We finally figured out we can have a 3rd copy in here, so we're already one up on our opponent to see this slightly a little bit more, either at opening hand or when drawing, or even in the security, of course. Because if you have this, if I have this, let's just say just me, if I have this and my opponent doesn't, I'm already in the winning game. I'm going to have that 2,000 extra DP, and then God forbid they have Hades Force in there. I do swing in, I have protection of it since I'll be leveling up the same level, Greymons and all that. Then lastly, obviously 3 cool boys here. Another card, either it gets eroded for play cost, which I doubt they'll do, but if they want to keep this, you know, because they're going to keep making more X Antibodies, of course. They want you to have more cool boys. They will make this either a 3 or 4. But anyway, on play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and you're basically going to pull a Digimon with X Antibody in its traits or the option card. So you can 10 draw 2. So if you hit any of the X Antibody Digimon, you can pick them up. And then within that 3, you have the X Antibody option, pick it up 2. And then with the broken part of this card is when you're Digivolving the same level with X Antibody and its traits, you can suspend this, gain a memory draw card. Huge. So if you have all 3 of these out and you do that, gain 3 memory, draw 3. That's what we don't need the draw egg. This is it right here. And next after that, so we get up X Antibody running the Silver 3 set here. I almost brought this down for a 2 because I thought about playing 3 Hades Force, but it feels bad. So if you see decks profiles out there running 3 of this, I'll tell you right now, this will be sitting in hand, and this is only good to cast it if you have any of your level 6 out. Yeah, it's alright if you play it for 12 costs because you're still blowing up pretty much the entire board. But having it for 13 is just that 1 extra you can go ahead and delete. But love the set of 2 and love the set of 3. And this is basically the deck profile. This is what one of my thoughts other than Grandest that I'm going with as is. I'll let you know if I do go into this of course, and if I do well, I'll do what kind of changes I can do along the way. Just playing for locals, of course, because obviously this is going to be a locals game too. But at that point, bans may happen with this card, or changes. Of course, this card being one of them. There will be changes after Nats, of course. So we will make a deck profile what the changes will be. But running the deck profile time here past almost 13 minutes or 12, so we're going to end it right here. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already. And don't forget to get geek on, and we'll see you guys next time.